let's just take a deep breath and let's start all over again. And what can I say? Sometimes we do face challenges, sometimes things just happen. We are having an absolutely amazing person with us today in a live studio, David Hyner, who is talking about how to set up massive goals. I just double checked, David. We are on YouTube and we can see you as well, which is great. An amazing David Hyner, he will tell us today about how to achieve massive goals versus stop doing those smart goals because they simply don't work. And I think right now, what probably, David, we can, take away from this situation which we have with you right now is that sometimes things don't work out, and how you can have a massive backup plan to make it work. What do you think?
Well, also, we had a reason to do it. Keep going rather than give in. If it crashes again, we'll have another go, because our reason to serve people is bigger than our fear of failure. So this just explains the point beautifully. Some people would just give in. Oh, we tried at the first, second or third attempt, whereas we're keeping going, and we will if it happens again. Why? Because our desire, Olga's and my desire to serve you today, is bigger than our insecurities about technology issues.
I love that. And it again proves that when you have a really big goal, which will stretch you, which will make you feel uncomfortable, which will give you goosebumps, you will keep going, you will keep trying because, well, you want to make it happen, especially when you're so accountable. And right now, David, I'm accountable to you. I want to put you on a spotlight. I want you to be able to deliver to people this amazing tool, the massive goal system, which I'm using that right now as well, all thanks to you, right? But also I'm accountable to people who are watching us, right? And that's why, how can we just say, no, we're giving up?
It's not an option, is it?
No.
Unless, of course, we want to be average.
Nah, who wants to be average?
Why on earth would you be beige?
Exactly. No. I never signed up for that. I absolutely never signed up for that. But I must say, David, since the time when I heard about your system, and if you want to tell us more about it, that would be absolutely amazing. But since the time when I heard you speaking about that pyramid system, and once I started applying that, you know what? It's just like eye-opening how easy it is to look at every step towards your goal. And I know people right now are thinking like, what she's talking about. So do you mind just to share what is it all about?
Sure thing. The way of achieving big is not necessarily about obtaining masses of expert information. The way of achieving big is by taking action consistently towards a single big objective. Many of us are guilty of getting easily distracted and
I love that.
by shiny new things, and we're spinning a dozen plates at a time going, aren't I busy, aren't I great? And I'll be honest, I'm as guilty as anyone for that at times. My wife is great at sort of hauling me back in and going, Heiner, get focused. And if we focus on one personal and one business career goal at a time in a 12-month period, your effectiveness, bang, it just goes through the roof. You achieve tons more, and you get better ideas because you're hanging around with better quality people rather than millions and millions of people. So what I'd like to do, Olga, if it's possible, is I'd like to share some of the ways really successful men and women think and behave when they're working towards their massive goals. And then at the end, I can talk a little bit about the actual process itself, and tell people where they can find out more. Is that all right?
I love it, of course, because what can be better than real success stories so people can be inspired and hear who else did it? We all wanted little proof, like all Olympic champions, why they go back to the Olympics and they beat the record last year, because now they know that is possible. Let me beat it. So yes, please give us some examples.
Well, other than my family, the thing I'm most proud of in my life, out of the 1 million people who have seen me present massive goals over the world in the last 20 years, the thing I'm most proud of is those who use it. Because we, as I said, other than my family, the thing I'm most proud of are the numerous, over a dozen Amazon #1 authors who have used it, the British, European, world sporting champion, the people who have gone from middle of the road academic ability to, in less than 4 months, becoming straight A-star students and smashing it out the ballpark.
Wow.
We've had explorers say that they put down some of my and the top achiever techniques to surviving during a massive avalanche in the Himalayas. And the things, we've even had a young lady, well, actually, rather than tell you the answer, can I tell you the coolest thing, right?
Please.
Sorry, you've got me on my subject now. I'm just like a big kid now. One of the people I interviewed was a British athlete called Chris Akabusi. Now, Chris Akabusi is quite known for commentating on the sport for the BBC. He's also a renowned professional motivational speaker, and he's a gold medal sort of world champion athlete. Now, people think that Chris is just this rare go. Actually, as a critical thinker, he's razor blade sharp, Olga, razor blade sharp. And when I said to him, Chris, what's that quote on your office wall? And he turned and looked in, and there was this wooden quote plaque, and on it was the quote, top achievers should be looked into, not up to. And I said, what does that mean to you? And he says, Dave, he says, if somebody is truly outstanding at the thing you want to be great at, don't put this person on a pedestal. Don't think that they're any better than you or I. Nobody's better than you. You're not better than anybody else. But what I want you to do is track them down, hunt them, stalk them, go through their bins, make crank phone calls, hang outside the house. You see, I just carried on while you left the room there, Olga. I just carried on, mate.
Yeah, please, absolutely.
I'm on a roll. This is hunt them down, track them, stalk them, go through their bins, make crank phone calls, hang outside the house late at night going, here's Olga. Don't do that, Olga. If you do that, say Nigel Risner told you to do it, all right? But what I want you to do is track down people who are really outstanding at the thing you want to be great at and get inside their heads. Buy them lunch, a coffee, bottle of Chardonnay, cheeky little dinner for two. But ask them questions that help you get inside their chicken here, all right? Help you understand how they think and how they behave. They will naturally tell you their systems and processes, but it is the thoughts and behaviors that will drive those systems and processes. So one of the things is looking into top achievers, not up to. So we had a young lady, she was a schoolgirl in sixth form, so she was 17, and she was this really tall, really skinny young lady with long, she had beautiful hair like you, Olga, long, straight, shiny, beautiful hair. Right? She was like a walking shampoo advert, this young lady. And she was really shy. And she says, David, I don't know what to do. I says, why? What is it you want to be? She says, I want to go into international politics. I went, you see, we shouldn't make assumptions, but there was me going, you're not confident enough to go into politics. How dare I say that? How dare I? When I realized what I was doing, I said, please forgive me. Why don't you do what Chris Akabusi says? Set a big goal and look into a top politician to mentor you. And she went, me? Speak to a politician? I went, yes. She went, okay. And she walked off. Now, I have that effect on women, Olga. And 7 weeks later, I had a phone call. Now, Olga, you know if you're in trouble by the tonality with which people say your name, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So if for example, if your son goes, Mom, you go, that's all right. But if he goes, Mom, oh.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
So I picked up the phone and I'm just looking for a phone for visual impact, right? I picked up the phone and it went something like this. I went, hello, David Hyner speaking. And the guy went, Mr. Hyner. Yes, David speaking. He went, Mr. Hyner, Mr. Moen, head of Hagler. Oh, hello, Mr. Moen. How is Mr. Hyner? He said, are you in the habit of encouraging young women to harass the President of the United States of America?
No.
I'll be honest with you. I kind of went, maybe. Is there a problem? And he went, no, I'm winding you up, Dave. I thought you'd want to hear this. He said, do you remember that young lady you spoke to several weeks back? I went, what, the politician girl? Yeah, what about her? He says, well, with our help and her parents' support, she wrote the letter of her life to the White House. We've been on the phone to Bob. Bob says, I went, whoa, 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 stop. Bob? Who's Bob? There's not a President Bob. And he went, oh, Bob, head of security at the White House. I went, whew. I was expecting the CIA to abseil in through the window going, get on the floor. Yeah. I says, what does Bob say? He said, and get this, right? He says, Bob says it's virtually unheard of for an international student to get a 2-page handwritten letter by the President of the United States of America answering their questions on politics. She got a 2-page handwritten letter by Barack Obama. I went, OMG, hashtag amazeballs, how good is that? Yay!
Yeah, exactly, celebration time.
He, without flinching, said, that's nothing. He said, it is unheard of, according to Bob, for an international student to be coached and mentored by the President of the United States. This young lady got coached and mentored by the most powerful man on the planet, Barack Obama, at the time. What's stopping us? Are we really going to say a 17-year-old young lady with zero confidence at the beginning can do that, and we can't set a massive goal and go and get a mentor at the very highest level? So here's the juice. Oh, here's the juice. You ready for the juice?
I am. I was born ready. Come on.
Everybody listening to this, I want you to pick one skill. Don't get a generalist coach. Pick one skill. And instead of going to average people who have read average books, got trained by average people, go to someone at the very highest level who has got the skills, the confidence, and the conviction of their material to show you how to do it the way they do it. Get mentored by them, coached by them, and take your level from there to there like that. So go and look into people. That's the first thing. I need a drink.
Oh my God, you know what? This is so profound. I'm not surprised you need a drink. I think you need something stronger than that to celebrate it.
Just high on energy.
Exactly. You know what? It's so profound when you think about it. The only thing what stops us from achieving more, being more, earning more, having more is just ourselves. Just that nagging voice which is inside of you saying, who are you? You can do. Yeah, exactly. Tell us more about that, actually. Tell us more. Because I know it. David, I know it, but people don't know it. Can you tell us more about the and the rhino?
Well, before I tell you about the rhino, can I just say, be careful what you're known for, right? Because 20 years, in all of the workshops and talks I've ever delivered, there is a 2-minute section only where I talk about cows and rhinos. Right. Because of that, people call me the rhino guy.
I know.
I am not the rhino guy. In fact, I've got it here. There's a guy called Scott Alexander. Scott Alexander wrote a book called Rhinoceros Success, right? Now, I'm
After hearing you.
Yeah, but no. This guy wrote the book. I think it was 1980 he wrote the book. And it became a global best-selling book, a motivational book. It's a thin book with large print and pictures, and it's a personal development, go get it, goal-setting book. But I put it down. I dismissed it as fluffy, woolly nonsense. Then I interviewed some of the pioneers of positive psychology. They'd never read this book, and yet what they researched proved everything in this book to be true. And when Scott talks about cows and rhinos, Scott Alexander is the rhino guy. He says most people think and behave like this. No. They look around the field. They look over the fence and go, I want that. I want to be somebody. I've got goals, dreams, but I'm a cow. Probably won't even get over the fence. My friend, my herd, they'll laugh at me if I fail or succeed. They won't like me. Yes. So I'll just stay here, chew grass, moo, milky, milky. And
love that.
I went, what? And he went, moo, milky, milky. I went, all right, let's put it down. So if most people behave like that, what about the handful of the rest of us? And he went, rhinos, Dave. Now, a rhinoceros, forgive me, this is cheesy, but if a rhino sees what it wants, it doesn't go, oh, I'll have a go. No. I'll start next week. I'll do it when I've got money in the bank or time. No, a
Yeah.
rhino, I want that. Boom, having it. Sharp. That is the difference. Now,
Yeah.
here's the juice. Here's the juice. Here's the serious bit. 97% of the time, most of us settle for this. We settle for it. 3% of the time, everybody watching and listening to this now, 3% of the time, we achieve big. We do things that we and other people don't think we can do.
Yes.
However, most of the time we're capable of being this, but we choose that. And what I'm trying to get people to realize at the moment, Olga, is that we've got to be realistic. No, that's a word I don't like, but we've got to be realistic and pragmatic about life. You said earlier that sometimes we have bad days, like today with the technology. It's a glitch, but we bounce back because we've got a reason why we must. So we've got to accept that 3% of the time we will have bad stuff. Yeah. Accept it, get over it, move on. Yeah. 7% of the time, let's have it, shall we? Let's set big goals and let's just go for it a little bit more. So that's the cow and rhino metaphor bit done with.
I love that. And and you're so right. You are so right about this. I must say, I probably will start using now this rhino metaphor more often, because usually what I refer to is saying you just got to be angry at yourself and just go and do it. Because very often what happens, you're right, you just tell yourself, yeah, I'll do it next week, or I'll start losing weight when I will find a partner, or I'll be happier when I'll be married, or I'll change a job when I find a job, whatever else. But actually what I tell, you should get angry at yourself and just get angry at your situation, and then you just do it. You just go after that. And the rhino is a perfect example. I mean, we all seen rhinos running in the zoo. What they do, they just chase whatever they want to chase. There's no excuses for them.
Have you ever been to a safari park?
Yes. Right? Yeah, Kruger Park in South Africa, yes.
Oh, well, that's a proper safari park. I'm talking about the rubbish ones that we have in towns and cities, where you stay in your car and you go around this windy road and you enter the rhinoceros enclosure, and between you in your little car and a 1.5 ton thick-skinned horn-headed beast that can run at 35 miles an hour, they put chicken wire.
No.
I don't know about you. That ain't gonna cut it. A rhino car, chicken wire. Nah. You see, if a rhino sees what he wants, it go gets it. You never see a rhino tread on a rock and go, oh. No, a rhino, it's having it, single purpose, driven, never stops till it gets it. It will tread on stones. It will get hit by thorns. And in fact, there's an expression in the book called "damn the torpedoes, let's go anyway." It's you see, this is it. We're just bigging up other people's stuff here, but this is how successful people think and behave. They accept that every now and again it's going to go wrong, but most of the time they go rhino. Instead of what we do is most of the time, moo, milky, 3% of the time rhino. So let's just flip it, shall we? Let's just have a bit more. You know the advert for the O2 phone network, be more dog? No, be more rhino. That's what we need to do.
Oh, exactly. We need to be more rhino. That's it. So all of us need to just right now think about big, massive goals, something what will actually make us feeling scared, make us have goosebumps, make us feel like, oh my God, if that happens, I'll be on the top of the world. I'll be the queen, the king, and whatever else, right? And then just go after that, just like a real rhino. Just never mind anything. Thank you. I love these extras. Never mind any challenges, never mind anything, thorns and people who don't believe in us, just go after that, like blindly just go after that. Good. Then how do we do it?
Right. First things first. Remember I said how you need to change your to-do list from doing the easy stuff to doing the hard stuff. So I want everyone to draw themselves a big dirty triangle. In fact,
let's bring it in, Dad. Let's bring it in. I love that. I love that.
Okay, so I'll draw it and then show it you. So I want everyone to draw a dirty, great big triangle for themselves. And
Fabulous.
imagine that it's a pyramid. So it's going to look a little bit like that. Okay.
Wonderful.
And if you've got a massive goal, you might have 100 things on your to-do list. Right. I mean, I've ordered international charity expeditions and treks, and I had 250 things on my to-do list. So it was a dirty, great big pyramid. Dirty, great big pyramid.
Wow.
However, for your daily to-do list, you might need one this size. Then, in each box, you put one task. But here's the important thing. You put the most important, critical, or scary task in the bottom rows and blocks. These are your foundation blocks to your goal.
Yeah.
You fill the less important further up the pyramid.
Yeah.
And if you've got, it doesn't matter how many blocks you've got, you must be able to look at each block and say to yourself, I can do that.
Yeah.
And if one of the blocks is still big and scary as a task, you know, so let's give a metaphor here. I want to start a business, massive goal. Maybe one of the goals, tasks, is finance. How am I going to get the money to start a business? Now, maybe all the rest of the tasks, I can do that, but getting the finance, oh, I don't know how to do that. So you draw another little pyramid and break that task down into realistic and achievable steps until every single thing you look at on your goal, you say to yourself in here, I can do that.
Right.
Because if you've got, and here's the thing that hurts people, if you've got a massive goal, but every single thing on the list is realistic and achievable, the only stopping thing is fear.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, Olga, the only thing that stops us is taking action, fear of hard work. So if you've got a pyramid, and whilst I'm talking, I'll just put something in here. So hypothetically, we're going to start a business. So we'll need money, we'll need a plan, we'll need a property, we will need customers, we'll need marketing. Okay.
Website.
So, right, just a couple of ideas there. Instead of doing the easy stuff up here, like, oh, I'll get my photograph taken, I'll design my logo and have business cards printed, won't be that be chipper. Instead of doing all the easy stuff and crossing those off, start down here with the thing that scares you the most, the critical task. So I would go away and make sure I've got the finance in place to keep me afloat for 18 months and invest in that business. And I will not do anything else until that is in place. Then simple as you cross it off. Ta-da! Hard this, isn't it? You then look at the next thing, have a business plan. Right, structure properly a business and marketing plan. When you've done it, cross it off. This is hard, isn't it? If up here you start designing your logo and having your photos taken and, you know, writing copy for your website, then you've got a block filled in up here, loads of blocks not filled in, and your foundations to your building isn't even in place. So it's just going to collapse. It'll fall down around your ears. So focus like a laser beam straight back down here. Look at a property. You're going to work from home office, get an office. Do you need a shop, retail, warehouse, unit? When you've got one, cross it off. And all you do is bit by bit follow realistic and achievable steps towards your massive goal. And if this sounds simplistic, please, if anyone here is a very high detail person and you're looking at this silly little triangle going, it's simplistic, that wouldn't work, it's ridiculous. Well, girlfriends, you're looking at someone who has broken 4 charity fundraising records, has got over 100 books, 80 audio books, has got 6 video courses with 33,000 students globally on it, an internationally award-winning global professional speaker of some 20 years who's presented to over 1 million people, interviewed 258 top achievers, and is the most proud husband and father in the world. Come and have a go if you think it's stupid. Sorry, did I get carried away? And
I love that.
And the people, Olga, the people who have used it and achieved big things. Oh my days. We had a guy in a chief executive group that I was training, right? He was a normal guy, never gone jogging in his life. He says, I'm going to run a marathon. I went, great. He signed up for the Marathon des Sables. Now, I don't know if you know what that is. It's the
No.
hardest marathon in the world. It's like 7 marathons in the desert.
No, and he never ran before.
He didn't even know what he was signing up for. He was only, he got there and he'd got all the wrong kit. He'd got plastic bags over his shoes to stop the sand getting in and all sorts. It was crazy. And he did it. He went rhino. And I've got a picture of him standing on the top of the sand dune like this with his medal round his neck. And the things people have done. We had another guy who was a student in a high school, and he was a trombone player. And he used to get loads of stick from his mates for being a trombone player in an orchestra. He took the look into things, literally set a massive goal, and he became Europe's #1 trombone player. He went and got mentored by the #1, and he got mentored by him and took his place. We could go on and on and on with the things people have achieved, Olga. So my challenge to everyone watching this is, so what's your massive goal? Huh?
I love that. You know what, David? I love how articulate you are. Honestly, I absolutely admire you for that. And I love that. And the thing is, we should be really, really big thinkers in our own heads about what we want. Because very often we do set up a very safe, easy to achieve goals. And especially, I have a habit asking people this question, right? Primarily because of my background. I'm a coach, right? So I always ask people questions. And one of the questions I ask very often is, so what goal are you working on right now? Or what is your next big thing? It just me naturally being curious, asking people. And amount of people who answer, I want to be happy. And I'm like,
Biggest goal in the world?
does it mean you're unhappy now? And I said, well, no, I am happy. That means you achieved your goal. What's your next goal? I want to be happy. And I'm like, doesn't mean you're not happy now. And that's the thing, because we set up something which is very blurry, something it's there already. It's nothing even to work towards to. And as a result, you feel underachiever. As a result, you have this imposter syndrome. As a result, you have all these insecurities because it dawns that have massive goals. There we go.
You're 100% right. I've got a speaker buddy up in Scotland called Neil Dorwood. He's a celebrant. He's a speaker at funerals.
Oh, right.
And he has this wonderful way of explaining what you've just said. He says, people are too busy leaving their legacy instead of living it.
Yes.
And I said, what do you mean? He says, well, Dave, he says, everyone is working so hard for when they're gone, leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
He says, how many funerals have you ever been to, Dave? And I remember just crumbling when he said this. He said, how many funerals have you ever been to where someone stood up to give a few words about the deceased and said, good old Stephanie, she financially provided for her children. Good old Trevor, he had a helicopter and a house in France. You know, they never say this stuff.
No.
You know, good old Trevor, he had a house in the country. No. They don't say these things. They talk about the person you were and the difference you made in their lives. So are we working our rocks off trying to leave a legacy when we should be living it? Everyone waits. Everybody's waiting. They've got their life on pause. As you know, half of my work is with young adults in education. And when they ask me about the things I've done, because they try and challenge me, and I tell them, and they go, whoa. And they come up to it at the end and go, how can I have all these adventures? And I go on an adventure. And they go, what? And I go, get off the internet, stop watching TV, go on an adventure. It's that easy. If anyone's sitting here right now going, how do I start? I'll go, don't go for 2 weeks in Benidorm this year. Go and work in an African village. Go and trek along the Great Wall of China or in the Himalayas. Go and work in an elephant reserve, or, you know, do something. Volunteer for a homeless charity. Go and do something with your life, because when you have experiences, you grow as a person and you meet the kind of people who, like you, are very much the rhinos of this world. And when you start hanging around with these instead of these, life gets better. Just saying.
Exactly. And you know what, David, I must say, recently I made this live video And I literally shared in this video that I would like to share with you the most expensive lesson in my life. And I would like to share the lesson which transformed my life completely.
Yeah.
And I said, this will be the most expensive and yet free lesson. It
Cool.
was reach out. That's it. Just reach out, just talk to people. And you know what's fascinating? When I was telling people about you that you're going to be on the show, and also about my other guests already on the show, very often I'm reached out by people asking like, how did you manage to get these people on your shows? Like, how do they come? Like, what do you do? I'm like, reached out.
Ask. It's the same with top achievers. You know, they say, oh, what top achiever wouldn't speak to me? I go, that's an assumption.
Yeah.
I was a chef. That's where I get my wonderful Kung Fu Panda physique from, right? I used to be a chef,
David.
right? I had a little catering business in Birmingham, and, you know, we did okay, nothing special. And I started as a hobby interviewing successful people. And
No
now it's grown into
way.
this massive bank of research. And I think I'm the only professional speaker who didn't set out to become a motivational speaker. I kind of just fell into it. But yeah, my advice to anyone is don't make an assumption that you can't ask for help. Go and find out the truth. You will find that in many cases, people at the very highest level will just give. I mean, testimony to your show, Olga, you know, you've already had some great people on it, including some of my friends. You know, so it's just reaching out, it's asking for help.
Yeah.
But there's something else people can do by way of asking for help as well that top achievers do. Do you want to hear it?
Of course, please do. I mean, dying to hear it.
Well, there's a thing that seems to be very popular at the moment called mastermind groups. And some people listening to this will go, oh yeah, mastermind groups, old hat. Well, I'm a bit of a, being a researcher, I can be a bit of a pedant. I will go into fine detail. And I found out that the first mastermind groups where there's evidence of it, because in my head, it must have happened in Greece or Rome or ancient China first, something like that. But there's no actual written evidence that I've ever found. The very first mastermind groups that I've ever found started here in the UK, and they were men. If anyone's a historian, some of them may know these names. So James Watt, Dalton, Galton, Darwin, Wedgwood, even Benjamin Franklin, the American president, used to travel for meetings whenever he could. And these were people who would meet on a 3 to 4 monthly basis for a whole day, sometimes a weekend. They would sit round a large table and they would take it in turns to go around the table, sharing their big goal. Huge goal. And bearing in mind, these people gave birth to the Industrial Revolution. They changed the world with what they achieved. And all they were human beings just like you and me, who sat around a table going, this is my goal. This is the challenge I've got. They would brainstorm their challenges. They would commit to action. And here's the most important thing relative to what you said, Olga. Between meetings, they would support each other, hold each other accountable, and ask for help. That's it. And they changed the world. Could you imagine the people listening and watching to this right now, with you and I, and all of them? Could you imagine the combined knowledge, skills, expertise, and experience? Could you imagine sitting with a group of between 3 and 6 or 7 maximum people round a table a couple of times a year, brainstorming challenges, opportunities, and being held to account and supporting each other, achieving massive goals? Come on. Do what Olga said. Ask. Ask.
It's true. Yeah. And if there's nobody to ask from because you don't know anybody, create your own. You can create your own mastermind. I mean, yes, we all want to be a part of something, but if there's nothing to be a part of, just go and create one. Go and build one. Just go reach out to people and say, hey, I'm planning to build a mastermind. And David, I so agree with you. I absolutely so agree with you. You probably think I'm absolutely insane, but I have actually 5 mastermind groups.
Whoa.
They all are different, right? One is for speaking, one is for coaching, and they're different. And also I'm leading some for business people, actually, for them to mastermind. I'm leading them, but they're mastermind, like leading themselves and also myself. But there are 5 of them. And I must say that the power there is incredible. So I completely and entirely agree with you. I'll put hand on my heart that it works. because you grow all together, especially with the time you learn about each other, you know each other, and now you can challenge each other. And now you can coach each other. Like as a group, you coach one person and you literally question, and it's so powerful. I mean, if people really want to succeed, they definitely need to go into mastermind, because one person is good. But when you have a team of people working on something together, this is a next level. Absolutely.
And the beauty of having a team like that, and this can be awkward for some people to hear, Olga, but in our lives, everybody in our life has got an agenda for our time. Everybody.
Yes.
The inland revenue, your accountant, your kids, your partner, your parents, your family, your friends, everybody has an agenda for you and your time, apart from people in your mastermind group. Their only interest is your and their success. So in the family or workplace situation, when someone goes, have you got that done? And you go, no, because, and you'll tell a story to get off the hook.
Yes.
In a mastermind group, that doesn't cut it. Because, you know, if you were in my mastermind group and I started telling a story, Olga, you would look me in the eyes and go, David, not acceptable.
Exactly.
Not acceptable. Not up.
Yeah.
You know,
Go do it.
and so you don't go to a mastermind group with excuses. You've either done it or you haven't. Get on. That's it. And you become more effective.
Yep. Absolutely. And especially when you can have a system like yours, which is a pyramid system, and then you all have to do mastermind all these ideas and then put them all together in one pyramid, and then just do one task after another. And then there's no excuse for you to come back with not completely crossed out the pyramid. Right? That's it. But it is about applying that. It's really about applying that. But David, you know what? I must say, the system which you are talking about, the pyramid, is so powerful, really extremely powerful. So once people set up massive, like humongous goal, as you said, right? Like absolutely humongous goal, like this dinosaur goal. And then they're breaking it down into the pyramid, right? They have little chunks, like how do you eat an elephant, right? You cut it in chunks. So now they're eating the elephant, they're breaking down the goal but into little steps, right? Is there anything else people can learn from you, how to be more effective, you know, how to achieve better goals, how to set up massive goals? What else people can learn from you? Because right now we got it, massive goals, this is the system pyramid. What's the next step?
Well, there's something that, again, it's part of that process, but it's critical to the success, which is consistency.
Right.
Most people will start things and then give in, or start something and start something else. That's spinning the plates again. So what I encourage people to do is be critically consistent in taking action towards the goal. Get that support and accountability to keep you focused and on track. And there's a thing called the 1/3 of 1% rule in emotional intelligence. I don't know if you've heard of it, but in essence, it equates to 5 to 10 minutes a day, right? And all I want people to do to begin with is, for 5 to 10 minutes a day, improve your attitude, output, performance, productivity by a measly 1/3 of 1%.
Love that.
And then do it the next day, and the next day, and the day after that, and every day for a year. And I've had 2 maths professors work this out, and I've got 2 others who are disputing whether or not that's all it is. But if you, every single day for just 1 year, 5 to 10 minutes a day, go rhino on your goal, this time next year, you have in excess of 112% increase in productivity and output.
Yes.
Think about that for a minute, guys. 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's it. But doing the thing you've been putting off doing, going rhino on that, making that call you've been putting off, or doing the account or the VAT return, or having the awkward conversation you need to have, doing it in that 5 to 10 minutes. 1 year, and then buy me a beer as a thank you.
I love that. And David, we have so much love for you here as well. People saying loving it and brilliant and lots of smiles and wows, and like somebody joined later, Howard joined later. He's like, what did I miss? And yeah, you know what? People just really loving it. And
Howard, punctuality. It's critical, dude.
No, he actually joined us. He actually joined us because he was watching us before, and then we had to rejoin, and then we had to drop out. We had to rejoin as well, and I think it was a bit of a delay.
Well,
So
in that case, Howard's a rhino because he didn't give up and he rejoined. Well, game on.
Exactly. So game on, everybody. You know what? This is absolutely brilliant. I completely agree with Maria, who says brilliant, because it is absolutely phenomenal. What you're teaching here is great. It's not only working, it's proving itself so many times, not only on other people's examples, but also on yours. How great is that?
Thank you. Well, you've got to be careful in the world of motivational speakers. There's a lot of what I call tall, slim, shiny suited people with pointy fingers who go, "Hey guys, you work as hard as me and you too can achieve," and they never tell you how.
Yes, exactly.
They never
And what
show
you
you
have
how.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And what you have done today, you actually showed us exactly what we can do about this, how we can achieve it. And it's only now about taking that step, right? Now, like never before, taking that step, actually going big, going wild, going rhino. So I have those goosebumps on your skin. Set up a massive goals, put the pyramid down in place, just write down all the goals, all the steps which you need towards your goal, but starting with the most important ones. And I must say that myself personally, because I use this pyramid since I heard David speaking, and I must say, David, probably I think I did tell you that I heard you speak twice on that, and I thought, if you heard it twice, maybe it's time to apply it. Because for the first time, I said to myself, yeah, that's good. I should do it. And I was like a cow. I did not do it straight away. I literally was like a cow, and I was like, you know what? I'll do it someday. And I did not do it. But I must say, on that second occasion when I heard you speaking, and I remember right in the chat, I actually put that, who wants to be in my mastermind about the pyramid. So right now we have pyramid mastermind for people who actually we are say accountable to each other about our task in this pyramid. And I must say, the power of setting up the most fundamental tasks, and in my case it is daily tasks which I need to do on everyday basis. They're little things, as you said, 10-15 minutes, but
Sure.
they're fundamental. Without them, nothing will move on forward, and the power of that is incredible. I absolutely love that. So thank you so much, David. I'm forever grateful for you bringing this topic and telling us more about that. Really, really love that. Thank you.
Pleasure. Can I leave you with a great story?
Oh, yes, of course. Sure.
In the early days of me presenting it, I still presented from a place of insecurity. You know, as a speaker, you've seen the speakers, they're going da-da, but what they're really doing is going, please like me.
Yeah.
Please make me feel
Yeah.
significant and then I'll be happy. And you know, I was desperate for approval in the early days, but I gave a talk at Loughborough University's business school. And there was a lecturer at Loughborough Business School at the college there called Andrew Cope. And Andy hired me to give this talk, and the room was half full of academics and half full of entrepreneurs. And at the end of my massive goals talk, the entrepreneurs stood and applauded, and the academics, well, they probably booed me, but I was too scared to watch. I mean, they were not happy. And, and at the end, Andy came up and went, Dave, that was brilliant, but we can't have you back. I went, what? He said, that was brilliant, but we can't have you back. I said, why? He says,
Why?
we've just started a coaching program teaching realistic and achievable goals. And I went, no, what did you get me in for then? He says, the entrepreneurs, they loved you. I went, great. I went, so what you're saying here? And he did this. He went, but it's all right for you talking about massive goals, Dave. I can't achieve my goal. And they do that, as if to say, what are you going to do about that then? And I said, why? What's your goal? And he went, well, he says, I want to be a best-selling children's author. I went, go on then. He went, I can't. I said, can't or won't? He said, can't. Let me tell you why. And he did. He said, I've got full-time job, bills, mortgage, family, children, responsibilities, no time, and he was just listing excuses. He may as well stood there going, no. And in the end, I don't like being rude, Olga. I just happen to be good at it. I just went, stop. Don't tell me what you can't do. Prove me
Mhm.
wrong. Have a go. And he did. He went away, did his little triangle, became a big triangle. He took consistent action. 2.5 to 3 years later, he wrote his first book that was published by Penguin Books. It was called
Wow.
Spy Dog. It was like a British Scooby-Doo, right? And it went into
Oh.
primary schools around the country. It became a best-selling author. His second book, imaginatively titled Spy Dog 2, was so successful it beat J.K. Rowling to Children's Book of the Year. It catapulted
No.
him to fame. He wrote 20, I think it was 24 books in the series. He became a global children's literature phenomenon. He then went back to university as a student this time and became Europe's first Doctor of Happiness. He studied happiness as a PhD. And I
Wow.
tell you what, you need to interview him. He's a great interview. He's called Andrew Cope, and his business is called The Art of Brilliance. It is
Love that.
fantastic, and he's a great interview as well, as you could imagine.
Oh, yes, totally. Yeah.
But other than myself proving the model, he was the first person to achieve massively just doing a silly little triangle. So
Right.
in the words of the school playground, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough, guys. If you don't think
Definitely.
it's going to work, if you right there are sitting there with a cynical voice going, that's silly, that won't work, this is just an over-the-top guy from Birmingham, my challenge to you is easy to dismiss, try and prove me wrong.
I
Then
love
put a
that.
bit there.
Oh, this is so hot. I love it. This is really, really hot. I mean it. It's really, really that. And you're feeling hot as well. Exactly. But and also, I've got a question. I've got you. I know you've got this course, which is a video course on how to achieve massive goals. Did you build this course based on the pyramid, or did
Yeah,
you just? Did you?
the whole video course is it shows you in detail all the thoughts and behaviors that we've been talking about and other stuff as well from the research, and it shows
Right.
the pyramid, how to do it, structure it, draw it, work on it, keep the motivation going to overcome procrastination. Everything in there we've been talking about, but at a much deeper level.
Wow. Well, yeah, because absolutely. I mean, right now it was so profound to hear it about it and to learn about that, but you definitely need to dive in details. And unless you start doing it yourself and you sit down and you hear to the actual information how to do it step by step, it can be quite challenging. But even doing these first steps, massive goal, real scary, goosebumps, big goal. So you really freaking out yourself when you think, oh my God, can I really do that? And then doing these steps one by one, putting them into pyramid, starting from the fundamental and 10-15 minutes. That already is a massive, massive help. So what I will do, David, I will share, if you don't mind, this video course under the YouTube video. Do you mind if I do that?
Not at all. Well, I'll tell you what, if you let me know when you've sort of uploaded this, give me a
Yeah.
shout and I'll put a voucher code in the comments box below so people can go and have a look.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Thank you so much for this, David. Thank you. I'm sure people will absolutely love it because, oh, he actually, Howard is saying some useful tips, David. Thank you. Well, Howard, delivering here. We're delivering here for you. And that's why we were
Oh,
trying to get back on these. And we managed. We managed to actually see David. We managed to see myself, both of us here.
so isn't it a
Thank
good
you.
job we didn't give in early on, eh? Walking our talk, Olga.
Absolutely.
Walking our talk.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's always all about. So, yes, thank you so much for allowing me to share your course. I'm sure people will benefit. And thank you so much for providing a special discount for people who actually will check it out. So, I will just post the details as soon as possible, but I'll let you know when the details will be there. So, you can also post the code. But thank you so much, David. I'm really grateful. Everything what you taught today is just remarkable, profound, used by me as well. So, I can definitely vouch for that. It definitely works. And everybody who was watching us today, please don't look at this time which you have spent with us. It's just, yeah, it was a good time. Exactly. Yeah. Start being a rhino. Set up yourself a big goal. As David said, set up the pyramid, start working on it because you've got only one life. And if not now, then when? Exactly. So thank you so much, David, once more. Everybody else was watching us. Have a wonderful day, as well as you, David. Have an absolutely amazing day. And we'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Check us out tomorrow.